Okay, I can see up on YouTube that it's going live now. So, yes, this is Hot's first presentation that we're doing for part of the Outreachy program. So, for round 10, okay, I can see up on YouTube that it's going live now. So, yes, this is Hot's first presentation that we're doing for part of the Outreachy program. Okay, sorry, that was just an echo. So we had three interns for round 10, and we're going to go through presentations from each of them. After each presentation, we're actually going to do a question and answer session on IRC chat. So please join us there if you'd like to ask some questions. I'm going to hand you over to Rushi, who worked on the export tool, the Hot OSM export tool, and she'll be able to take you through some of the details of her project.
Hello everyone, I'm Arushi, and I was interning under Outreachy round 10, and my project was improving hot export tool documentation, and my mentor was Mayuri. We had various contributors from all over the world. I was working with Brian, Kaja, and Razan. And we worked for like 3.5 months, starting from May till August, I guess, 25th. And this is how the work was distributed. During weeks 1 to 5, I mainly had to investigate about the export tool and its features. So I started listing out all the features of the tool, and I marked the major ones. And then I started to prepare mock-up of those. We also prepared a questionnaire about tool features and later presented it to the community members. Based on the survey, we then started to prepare an interactive mock-up in which you could click on the links and go to various HTML pages and see how the tool looks like. And yeah, we surveyed and we got the feedback. There were like 67 people, I remember, who responded to the survey. And features like visual tag chooser and tree structure of preset, etc., were investigated. This was till week 5. And for week 6 to 10, we added content to the export tool pages, and this included creating Python tag lists of various presets like HTML and OSM. Then in between, I wrote installation guide for export tool, and I helped my mentor to install it on her machine as well. And yeah, we got it running, and I was really happy. And then after that, I tested various file formats. Then came the internationalization part, in which we had to see how the transifex works, and it was finally incorporated, I guess, a week back or something. Here is the link of the final mockup. I'll post the link of presentation on IRC so that you can look up at the link and see how it looked like. The final weeks was majorly about finalizing the documentation and naming each functionality and grouping the help documentation into various categories. Then came up various GitHub issues like how the user could log in via their OSM accounts, and we did resolve it later. And last week, I guess, was pretty much spent in investigating how we could provide styling files, the files that are used in QGIS, and the wrap-up was majorly based on that. So this is all, and the future goals are we were planning to prepare a video about the help documentation, but then later we decided that screenshots are way useful. So probably we can do the video later when the UI and all is all final. And the last thing, well, promotion of the export tool is a really good thing. Probably we can, all meet and talk about it to the community members, what we have been working on. And yeah, collecting surveys and reviews. That's a major part of any open source contribution. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Arushi. Okay, since we can't really take questions via the Hangout unless there's any questions from the other mentors or students or perhaps Tyler, we can go over to IRC chat.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to put your mic on mute, Arushi? I'm going to
Yes,
share
yes.
this. So yeah, please go to this link if you want to join us on IRC chat. Just enter in a nickname. The channel's already set on hot, and then you can just click start to enter, and we can take some questions there.
Hey, Arushi and Imari, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
I don't know if it was part of the scope of this internship, but I was wondering if you could tell us some more details on what aspects of the export tool were the most challenging in terms of usability from the previous version, and then how they were addressed. Again, only if it's part of this study that you did, how they are addressed in this new version of the export tool.
Well, according to me, the most challenging part was how the export tool had to be, organized into various pages, because the old one that was being used wasn't really properly structured. We had messed up features here and there, one linking to the other. So our major what focus was to restructure it properly so that it's easy to use. And in the new export tool, as you must have used, you can see that all the features are in one page, but they're distributed in like tags. They're in subdivisions, so it's easy to use and looks attractive, and there's nice documentation. So yeah, and we all gathered inputs from the community members and incorporated every suggestion. We looked into every suggestion that they told was important. And yeah, I think that was the major, or you can say the most important part of this internship. Thank you.
Thank you, Arushi. I have a second question, if I may.
Yes, yes, sure.
Um, I know that your study focused on like a survey to understand how people use the tool, the previous tool, the new tool. Have you done any comparison or any study of the actual uh, statistics of how people access each component by using trackers on the website, so that you see where people click and how they move from one section of the website to another, using basic statistics from the server side, basically.
No, we didn't look into trackers as such, but our survey questions did include questions like these, like what are the major features you use, or after one feature, which feature would you like to prefer, would you like to use, and all that. So we didn't track the user activity as such, but then our survey questions did include those parts. Hello?
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Hey guys, Outreachy, I first wanted to say thank you so much for your work and for your presentation. I just posted the same question in IRC, so whoever's here can hear my voice, and whoever's on IRC can see the question there. But I basically wanted to hear more about what worked well for you during the internship and what didn't, in terms of the mock-up tools that we used, but also about our processes. How could, in coordination with your mentor Mari, were there things that we could have done better to make it easier to work remotely, or were there other things that you learned from the experience?
Well, things that worked fine were I was comfortable with the whole creating of mock-ups and collecting surveys, but I wasn't really comfortable with the GIS work. Like I didn't know how the mapping works and why a particular feature is used, because I really didn't have any GIS background. So that was a challenging part, and well, over 3 months I did learn like why this feature is being used and why it's so important, because there are features like you know, like visual tag chooser, which are not used so much, but then I had no idea why it is being used. But some community members did tell me that it is actually being used. So yeah, basically knowing about every feature and why it is being used, that was a challenging part. And I came to know more about that when the survey was done, because people could actually comment on each of the questions that we were asking them, and they provided their suggestions. So yeah.
That's great. Thanks so much. Specifically to the tool you used, mockups, did you evaluate using different software? Was there any reason we chose mockups over other ones?
I used markups.com, so it is an interactive one in the sense that it provides you links. It links you from one page to the other. So that was our first choice because it looked fine. It was easy to work on, and I could change it, and it was free. And yeah, so it had a sense of open source into it. So my first choice was mockups.com, and I really didn't look into other software, and that pretty much worked well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Arushi.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rushi. And I must say, like, at the start of the internship, initially it was going to be focusing on the help documentation for the old export tool. And it was kind of when she started the internship, we decided that we were going to redevelop the export tool. So she actually was very hands-on with many different aspects and picked everything up really quickly. So yeah, thank you for that, Arushi, and investigating different aspects of it and really helping along with a lot of it. Does anyone else have any questions for Arushi? Let's see if there's any on IRC actually.
Mm, well, I don't see any, but I'll be there on IRC for an hour now. So if people do have questions, then I can answer them on IRC.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rishi. So I guess we can go over to Kelsey now.
Hello?
Hi, Tasia. If you could click the little green icon on the left side of the screen, that will share your desktop with us.
Okay, first, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because I was not sure. So I should put my presentation, right? And are we ready to go?
If you could click the little green button on the left-hand side of the Google Hangout,
Yes,
it will
I
show
did.
you did. It hasn't come up the icon yet.
Partager l'écran. It doesn't show me. What should I do?
Sometimes it
I
disappears
just
if you
clicked.
click the little green button.
Okay. It doesn't tell me anything when I click.
Okay, let me share my screen and I'll show you the order. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
So can you see the little green icon over here?
Yes, I'm clicking. I'm clicking there.
It's not working.
Oh. Um. Okay, I
Okay.
will.
Yeah, do
I
you
don't
want
know. Maybe I.
we'll go over to Blake. He can present Greek slides and then we can try and do yours again in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Then do that.
Okay. Blake, are you able to go through Greek slides now?
Hi, yes, again, I apologize. I can't really speak. I'm going to go through my slides. They were created by Rec, the person that I worked with, and they're primarily the results and discussion of what her actual project was, without a lot of review of like timeline and process and things like that. So I'm just going to start. Unfortunately, I can't really do audio commentary. My apologies.
Great, thanks for sharing the slides, Blake.
Mari, may I jump in with a question at this point?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Blake, thanks very much for your presentation and for Rick's work on it as well. I'm wondering, how does this, I think there are some really good issues that you both brought up there, and especially in terms of there's lots of issues on the GitHub for Tasking Manager. There's lots of lessons learned from Nepal. The screen mock-ups that Rick put together look really interesting. I think there's some good ideas there. So I guess my question is, where did we leave things? Where do we take things from here? Do the mock-ups that were created, are these things linked to on GitHub, or how does this all tie together, and what are the next steps? Pretty broad question.
Okay, because Blake can't actually speak in the location that he's in the moment, he's writing in his reply, so I'll just read what he's written. But he's saying that Pierre Girard has outlined his plan for further development, and they actually Blake and Reith haven't gone over their results with Pierre yet. But they have showed around the mock-ups to various stakeholders. So I think they've showed it to Pierre, Pete Masters at Missing Maps, and the community interested in the tasking manager. Oh yes, Enrique actually got to travel to London, I believe, to a Missing Maps session as part of her Outreachy internship, and she got to do some user testing in person and get a lot of live feedback. So the next steps after that, the next steps will really be to work with Pierre to help determine some of the, but they also have some priorities that are not UI, UX related. But Blake agrees that some very good suggestions came out of the project and that we should definitely look at how to get them implemented. And especially the work, I'm just jumping in for Blake now, but basically, yeah, especially the work that was just presented on the slides. We're going to link everything up to the Outreachy wiki page on the OpenStreetMap wiki, and where people can see all the results of all the interns' hard work as well, but also just to kind of keep everything going on. So this is something, this is coming from Blake again, that we should look at how to get all the good suggestions that came out of the project implemented. And Reith has also submitted 10 pages of detailed user testing results. And these were just her summary. Okay, so are there any other questions that we have for Blake to answer on behalf of him and his intern? Just see if there's any questions being asked on IRC. Okay, so there's no more questions being asked. So before we go over to Tasia, who I believe I can see on her screen, she's got the share screen working. So yeah, just also to jump in quickly now and just say that all of the great work that the interns have done, and they've also provided great feedback in a, actually it's in a PDF form, but we're actually going to link all of this onto the OSM wiki, so interested future participants of Outreachy, whether they're mentors or students, they'll be able to have a look at their experiences, what they learned, especially advice for future, because it's definitely a learning curve for not only for the students, but definitely for the mentors and us as an organization, and I believe for Outreachy as their program as well. So yeah, please, we'll share the link after this. I sent it around in an email and tweeted and everything, but I'll share it at the end of this video just so everyone knows where to go. So we'll hand things over to Tasia now, and she can give her presentation on her internship.
Okay, can you hear me, Maria?
Yeah, you're loud and
Okay.
clear. I'm going to mute my mic now.
Okay, so let's go. My project was to develop OIM QGIS plugin. My name is Tasia, Camões Araújo, mentors Cristiano and Drazen. Let's go. So first of all, how did I end up here? I think my trajectory, I don't know how to say that, is not very typical for Outreachy intern. I'm already involved in other free software projects, and I'm a free software enthusiast. And I had a background with computers, but now I'm studying environment, and I just started working with HOT as a volunteer as a mapper, remote mapper, and then when I saw the Outreachy opportunity, I thought it was a good thing to apply my programming background with my interest with HOT, and but just the fact that I think for 5 years I was not programming, so this was also an opportunity for me to get back to programming work. Okay, and yeah, and Outreach was my summer project. Since I'm going to school, so this was my vacations, not vacations, but okay. So then, when I decided to apply, well, when I saw the Outreach, and I saw that there were 17 different ideas of projects that they could be done. This actually was my first challenge. What I would want to do among all those, because many of those projects interested me. I talked to some people on IRC, I talked to Blake many times, and there were basically arrived to 3 projects that I was interested. One was the creation of Moodle courses, the other was translation workflow, because I also do translation for other projects, and for example, for the export tools. So I thought it was also a good thing. But at the end, I stick with the development of QGIS plugin. As I said, it was a way of connecting both areas that of my studies. So, okay, first challenge done. Then the second challenge was to really get to the speed. The task that the mentors had set was to develop a Hello World plugin. So that would be my first contribution to the project. And it was actually tough for me because the deadline was in my exams week, and I had to work hard to have that done. But I finally managed, and I decided to go to Hot Summit. It was also another experience that was not directly related to the internship because I would go anyway. But I just got the response, the result of the application 2 days before traveling. So it was very nice to go there and meet people in person. I think it was a boost in my motivation to be part of the community. Then it was a series of other challenges the next 3 months after the summit. And now I had a clear goal to develop the QGIS plugin for Open Area Map. But then, even if I had done the trial plugin, by myself at home just for me to use. It was not. I just figured out it was not.
Hi, Tasia, sorry, you've just gone on mute. Do you think you could unmute yourself, please?
Okay. Do you hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you again now. Sorry.
I can continue from here, or should I go back? It was a long time I was moved.
Go back to when you were just talking about running your own plugin.
Okay, so yeah, once the internship really starts, I had to kind of translate the old thing that I had done, just this Hello World plugin, to the basic plugin that I was going to develop, and that took me. There was uh, also a challenge and let's say an apprenticeship uh, experience, and I had to use Qt for the first time. I had to choose the tools that I was going to use, that I didn't know those tools. I had never done proper graphical interface programming, so to sketch mockups. This was all new for me, and also the open area map. Um, the project itself, even though I understood the goal and what it was, but once we really started, was kind of a sea of new acronyms and things that I had to learn. But it was fine, and everyone was super helpful. Yeah, we made it. So I kind of outlined the development phases, but since I did one post per phase, I'd rather go through my post so you can see the evolution of the mockups and how the plugin was before. So I'd like to change my screen. Can I do that? I'm gonna change my screen to go through my. How can I show my browser? It doesn't appear as a possibility.
So share your screen again, and then just bring up your browser.
Okay. Yes, I think.
There we go.
Do you see my browser now? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
So okay, going through my diary, since I use this as a to document the process. I first post was the hello world to the community. Then I went through this phase of setup, the development for the project, and research, learning about OAM, learning about OIN, the catalog, the browser. So here I used that this this first post was more like, as I tried to explain to people, I will have my learning process. So it was good as a documentation, also and reference for other people. Then I went to next post, which was already defining the GUI, the GUI design. So yeah, we had the features that we wanted in the plugin. We defined the features. Then for the design, I first used Pencil as a tool, as a mockup tool. And those were the first mockups that I produced for the plugin. Yeah, you can see like different tabs for choosing the imagery, metadata, um, options set up and the proper upload. Then I changed to using the Qt Creator, and those are the mockups in Qt Creator. Then the next phase, sorry if it's confusing. Then there was I did some posts about the development update, saying where I was in each week, and I finally started to program the upload function was the main focus at that moment. And at some point I made a post to kind of, to make it public and try to call attention to OIM. So this is more outreach post, what I say, OIM QGIS plugin sharing imagery made easy, but I tried to call attention to the community and with new screenshots. So now the design was already evolved to this horizontal design. So I figured out that I needed more space in the plugin, and that was some screenshots of the time. After that, there was, my last post was this development number 5, where I show also some screenshots, updated screenshots. I had done this new dialogue, and at this point I already had someone helping me. I had Yoshi also helping, another developer that joined the team. So he helped me a lot with this part. So yeah, we created these 2 new dialogues, one for the settings editing, so users don't need to input metadata information every time, so the metadata can be saved in the computer. And this is the search and browse dialog, which is currently just a mockup. We actually didn't implemented the functions, but I just started to do the mockup. Yeah, and that was my last post. I still have one pending task for my internship, which is writing the post number 6. So I'm kind of behind on that, but it will come in the following days. And I'll try to go back to my presentation just a second. Okay. So yeah, basically the phases the iPads was the project setup and research, then the plugin features and Git design, then implementing the upload functions, then this phase of outreach and trying to call attention of the community. Then the last development thing that we did was to build the new dialogues and to switch the design from tabs to wizards. I'm not sure if it's clear. I'm going to show in screenshots what it means. And then finally the release. So we released in the beginning of September, I think the 12th of September, just before the FOSS 4G presentation. And we ran to make it happen, but it did at the end. So some screenshots, the newest screenshots are here. So this is the initial dialog, where the user can choose the imagery from layers that are currently loaded or from files, and select for upload. And here he can change the order of upload. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes? Okay. So yeah, here the user can choose the files and the layers and select the order of upload. Then next dialog, he can save metadata per imagery that he selects. And this metadata is saved and can be edited as a setting, a plugin setting. So this the last dialog page. You can review the whole metadata for the imagery that was set and put keys and where's the bucket that the upload will be done and finish. And then the upload starts and we have a progression bar and finish. And okay, so this was for the upload part. There is some error treatment of, let's say, if, well, I didn't get screenshots of that, but if you try to upload a text file, it won't let you, or if you try to upload the file that is just a JPEG image with no, I think we set up 3 bands to accept the file. So less than that, it won't let you upload, these kind of things. But there's a lot of other treatment that we still need to implement in the metadata. For instance, we didn't implement it yet. And here is the other dialog that I said to download imagery. So this would be the search criteria, and yeah, that's and the results. But I didn't implement that yet. It's just a mockup. And finally, this dialog is the metadata, where the user can input metadata and options, even the password, so that he doesn't need to type that in every time, and can save. And when the uploader is loaded, it will get those information as default. So that was that for the demonstration. And some technical points. So I use QGIS plugin creator as a starting point for my base plugin. Then with Qt Creator, we adapted the design. And after experimenting some development tools, I finally decided to go back to what I'm used to, which is Vim and Make. I'm very low tech person, and I usually get confused with lots of new technology. So even though I know it's not the most recent thing to do, that was my choice, and it worked very well at the end. Sorry. The other point was we bundled dependents within the package. This was something that I was not sure to do at the beginning because it's not very recommended in the development perspective, because it's hard to distribute software that you are not responsible for. But at the end, I was convinced that it was too hard to assure that users would have all the dependencies they need when they install the plugin. And I just decided to do as everyone does, or most people do. And yeah, then we release. We had, this is the second version that was released on the 12th of September. I can show the, yeah, and it's already in the QGIS plugin website as experimental. We already have, well, yesterday I checked, we had 483 downloads. We do have 20 open bugs, mostly from us, but 3 or 4 from users that are testing. And we have 2 main developers, me and Yoji, and Cristiano helps a lot testing too. And so that was it. For the internship experience, what I've learned, a lot of Python and Qt development for sure. There was a long time that I didn't program in Python in anything actually. I did learn some concepts of remote sensing and image processing because I am now studying GIS and remote sensing. I just started my first remote sensing course, so having developed this and made me already have contact with the with the area, with the issues of remote sensing before my course, which was a very good thing for me. Also, a lot of writing and communication skills, because I'm not very good at writing. Not that I'm not very comfortable with writing posts, blog posts, for instance, and I kind of was forced to do that. It was part of the plan, and even though it was not easy for me, but it was good. At the end, it was not that painful, and but I still own one. I still have to do my last post, and I actually will wrap up the whole experience and talk about the release in this last post. The other thing was time and task management, because we are pretty much free to do our schedule, and since there was my vacations time too, and I traveled, so I really had to try to keep track of the time and manage tasks and see when the plan couldn't be realistically achieved, and talk with mentors and adapt the plan. So yeah, this was also a project management experience, and the whole experience with OIM team and hot community, yes, but basically I was following two meetings, one with my mentors and one with the OIM developers team, which was very nice. It was very nice to see things being shaped and how things have evolved in these 3 months. Was incredible. Like in Hot Summit, things were still very on the air, and then things were getting clearer and more concrete. It was a nice experience to be part of the beginning of the project. And plans for the future, I need to concentrate in school. So this is my priority now. I do want to continue with development, and I have a lot of open issues, open bugs, and I want to refactor the code. But I just found in this first month of school, I found it's very hard to keep track, and the availability is not the same for sure. So things will slow down, and I hope then to do outreach and ask for help for new contributors, because this will be essential. I won't be able to lead that all by myself, and I'm already not by myself because I already have one helper, Yoji, but I feel that we need more people. And the other thing is I want to go back. Oh, sorry. I want to go back to mapping, because I'm not mapping at all in these 3 months. I didn't manage to, and this is something I really like. And this is actually what brought me to Hot Community. And plan for the future. In the future, I really wanted to work on the field. I like to work with communities. I like to work with outreach and teaching. So that's my future plan. So that's it. I thank you for listening. This is my contact and some links to the project, and my diary, GitHub, Gitter, where we have our meetings, and my personal blog. So thank you very much, and I'm here for questions.
Great, thank you, Tassi. That was a great presentation, and thank you for all your great work that you've done on the open area map. I do have just one question. I haven't actually had a chance to test out the QGIS plugin myself, but I guess, yeah, when you're talking about bundled dependencies for installing, I know that you're going to try and recruit other users, but what kind of plan do you have to make sure that, I guess, when dependencies need to be updated, will you be kind of following up that yourself, or checking that, or hopefully having a contributor that will be doing that?
Yeah, well, the problem with bundling dependencies is that you are ultimately responsible for that code. So you need to update it in your, because it's like I put all the dependencies inside my code, my directory of the plugin, and let's say if there is a security issue or if there is any other critical bug in the dependency in that library that I'm using, I'm responsible for distributing that to my users. So when you do that, you need always to keep you as the upstream. Like since I'm ultimately responsible for the plugin, I need to like the users would expect it from me that I only provide safe code. So that's why it's not a very good practice. That's one of the reasons why it's not a very good practice, or it's just that it takes a lot of effort to be sure that you are delivering the most recent and safe, and that you believe you are distributing a third person, another person code. But it's very hard. If I didn't do that, it was very hard to assure that the users, not very experienced users, they would have to download and install all the dependencies, and sometimes it's a blocker for them to use the plugin. And also, even if they do, sometimes the version of the libraries that they use are not compatible with the one that I developed the plugin. So yeah, versioning is also um, a hard challenge to keep the right versions. Even in our tests inside the team, like we were testing and we had some bugs that we couldn't reproduce in other person's computer, then we had to check what was all the dependency that we were using, if they were all the same. So yeah, bundling it makes easier, and you make sure that users will have the whole package will be the same, and it work in your computer as in their computers. But then the development needs to be criterious and be always like updating new versions of those dependencies, these kind of things.
Yeah, I guess
So
there is always the two sides of it where you want to ensure the user can have a working end tool, but then I guess on the developer side, it takes a lot more maintenance to make sure that it's always up to date and in all information. So you definitely chose for the option where it could be easily installed and works for everyone, but I guess in the long term for sustainability, either yourself or future contributors to the code are going to be working quite hard probably to keep it up. But thank you for that. Are there any other questions for Tasia?
Tasia, congratulations on a job very well done. I was really impressed with not only your presentation, but just the process that you went through, especially at the beginning when you were kind of learning QGIS, OAM, getting back into Python. So it seems like a huge learning curve, and I congratulate you for that, and just wanted to say thanks for your work.
thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. I don't want to do any question, as Tasia probably heard so many questions from me over the last 3 months. But I just want to say that Tasia picked up things really quick when even OpenAirMap design was not defined. So she was part of the learning for everyone in the project. So she provided contribution not just to this specific plugin, but to the general OpenAirMap project design. So that was really great that she could do that quickly and develop a plugin at the same time in parallel as we were developing other components of OpenAirMap on which the plugin relied on. So, and I also wanted to mention that we had another volunteer that joined us in the project, and I wanted to thank him also for being with us and for these 3 months, and hopefully for the future. It looks like there's already been great response in terms of downloads and testing and bug reporting on the work that has been done. So I think we have a really good opportunity here to continue and build on what Tasha has already done and extend the plugin, and it's a great piece of the whole OpenAirMap project that makes it much more usable for especially JS users that are familiar with QGIS. So I just wanted to thank you, Tasya, and Drajan also, the other mentor for this project, and Joji, and we look forward to version 2 in the next year or so.
Thanks, Cristiano.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions? I just had a quick look on the IRC chat. No questions there. So unless anyone has anything else to add, I think bring this presentation to a conclusion. I just wanted to say thank you again to each of the students in the internship. Also, a big thank you to the mentors for guiding them through the project. Just going to share my screen and see where, if anyone's interested, where information will be kept for following up on the projects themselves. So I'm just going to share my screen. And it's just been, because originally it was on GitHub, but we've actually decided to move it over to OpenStreetMap Wiki, as there wasn't a lot of code involved with the actual organization of the projects themselves. So if you just go on to the Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team page in the wiki, and it's just listed under the jobs, internships, and contracts. And under here you see the internship program. And here we've got a section for Outreachy and Google's Summer of Code, which we haven't been involved with yet, but hopefully in the future we will be able to participate. And so the round that we just presented on was round 10. And there's the information there, and which the project ideas, and then this is where we'll add in all the information, links to their blogs for the different projects, the feedback that they've given. Also include a link to this presentation and to all the other kind of materials that have been included in this round of the Outreachy internship. So thank you everyone for if you're watching this, and for everyone involved with the internship. So thank you very much. Does anyone else have anything to say, or we can call this, we can bring it to an end? Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.